Oh my God, I'm so excited, so excited. I hope everything goes doing well for everybody. Good afternoon, welcome for being here. Gracias por estar aquí. Y ahí vamos.
Awesome. I just want to echo what Nabarina said. We're so excited to be here this evening with all of you awesome, strong parent leaders. Welcome. This is our first session of Lighthouse Lodestar Lit for Literacy. My name is Susan Singleton. I am a family organizer. I work primarily with Lodestar parents, both English and Spanish speaking. And I'm excited to be here because I just really believe in the power of parents. I've seen parents do amazing things. And I know each of you have your own just set of leadership skills. And we want to be a part of growing that and making you the type of leader that you really want to be. Right. And I'm here with my co-conspirator for the evening, Miss Naborina. If you want to do introduction of yourself, Naborina.
Hi, everybody. My name is Naborina Alonso. I'm the family coordinator from Alostar, and I'm so excited to be here with you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Nabarina. Yes. So we can advance to the next slide. Like Kimmy was saying, grab your binders. All of you guys that have those customized binders to you, grab a pencil, right? We're going to be going over some awesome information today. Be sure to choose your interpretation and we'll get started. So, before we really start the session and really get into the meat of what we're going to learn about today, we just want to go over our kind of Zoom norms, right? So we can have the best experience on this call with each other as possible. So please turn your camera on. I know you guys can see me, see my face. I got my camera on. I know a lot of you have your camera on. Turn that camera on, put your name and school, rename yourself so we know who you are, what you look like, what school you're at. So when you see each other around, you can be like, hey, I recognize you from the Zoom sessions, right? And be in community with each other. Please participate actively. Raise your hand if you have questions. We love a good question. You can also use the chat box, right? We're going to be sharing a lot of stories, a lot of information. So when things really come up and resonate for you, let us know. Use your reactions. Use the chat box, right? That's what it's there for. We want to hear from you. Any
Susan, let's see if we can get some people in the chat box. I see Tanisha in the chat box. She said, hello, everyone. She's very excited for our first session.
Yes.
Love to use those
the chat box.
emojis.
Nice.
We can send some love, throw a little heart up, throw a little clap.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if we can get some reactions going. Oh, Corey's giving us a celebration.
See some hearts. Awesome.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, Miss Wiley Booker. She's celebrating too, being here. Tanisha got a big smile on. Tanisha's been waiting for this for years. It's a big deal, isn't it? Thank you, Dr. Dickey. Hey, Belen, great to see you.
Perfect. We can go to the next slide. All right. Now, Brina, you want to take us through our Lit for Literacy values? Why are we here?
Sure.
What are we talking about?
Here we are. What are the Lit for Literacy values? We have 4 core values that guide us through our institute. The first one is agency. So we had to build the agency and leadership of parents to advocate for their children's educational and achievement. That's the first one. And number 2 is science-based approach to reading. We champion our vision for high-quality schools, including a science-based approach to reading for all. Number 3, parents must know the academic standards, the data in their children's academic progress to be full partners in their children's education. Number 4, home-school partnership. We believe equity access to quality education takes place when there is a strong home-based communication, collaborating, and accountability. So here's the question. Which one resonates most with you? Place the emoji next to the value in the chart and let us know.
Yes. So if you're feeling parents must know is what you're really resonating with tonight when you heard that description, put a heart. Use your reactions, put a heart. If it's agency, you can use that thumbs up. You can put in the chat box or use your reactions. Let's see. I see some hearts. Nice. I see some thumbs up. What about science-based reading instruction? Ooh, more hearts. Parents must know. Nice. Thank you, Naima. Thank you. Yes. And what about homeschool partnership, that celebration one? Who's resonating with that? Ooh, lots of hearts. I love that. Perfect. Awesome. Well, let's go to our check-in question. And it kind of builds on what we just did. Why does that particular value resonate with you, right? We just looked at our Lit for Literacy values, but we'd love to know why, right? You can put it in the chat box, or maybe we can have a couple folks come off mute and just tell us, why does one of these values resonate? I see some hearts. Maybe Gerania, if you want to come off mute and share why parents must know is resonating. We'd love to hear from you. Let's see. Or maybe Chriselle, can you hear me? Why does parents must know resonate with you?
How about Bill? I saw Belen had a heart in there. Belen is resonating with parents must know. Do you want to just share a little bit, Belen?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Belen Orozco, and I am the Director of Operations at Lighthouse. And what value is resonating for me is the homeschool partnership community. And so this is my first round being part of this community and supporting the family engagement and leaders and the family. So I'm really excited about this work.
Thank you, Belen. Thank you for sharing. I so appreciate you being here and just trying to initiate and build relationships with the parents here on the call. I put a whoop whoop for you in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing. Awesome. I see some more hearts too in the chat. Perfect.
Some quick question. There's some parents in the
Yeah.
waiting room.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Let's get them in here.
Thank you, Nabarina, for calling that to our attention. Nice. Perfect. Well, let's keep it moving as we go through these lessons that we're going to learn tonight. You're going to find which of these values you're really going to kind of take away from the evening. Okay. So just keep them at the top of your brain. All right. Nabarina, you want to walk us through our community schools model?
Sure. We have our literacy. The literacy has 6 steps. So tonight, section 1, so it comes with 6. So we are already complete to number 2. So our journey is, we are on the journey together. You already have 2 important steps. Step number 1, apply and meet with your coordinator, done. Step 2, attend to a test check. Hopefully, you're done. Attend these 4 Zoom training sections. 4, participate in one-person section at your school. 5, be part of your school family literacy team. 6, qualify for the 150 fellowship. Yes, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Nabarina. Right. All of you guys on the call, y'all already completed 2 of the 6 steps. So we're now on number 3. And as we go through these sessions together, we're going to just keep leveling up our leadership, advancing our learning around literacy, right? And we should look at our goals for literacy. Kimmy, can you go to the literacy
Yes.
goals for us?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Let me go back. Uh-oh, hold on.
Perfect. So we're not just meeting here for any reason, right? We really are trying to make sure that most of you guys as students really benefit from what you're going to be learning, right? And implementing at home, right? And so we want 90% of the students that are enrolled to be meeting their reading acceleration goals. And we want all of you to be practicing those reading activities that we're going to learn about that are really going to support your students' literacy and their ELA grades and test scores at home. We want all of you to be able to practice those at home. And we're going to teach you a lot of really good ones that you'll feel confident doing with your student. We also want 100% of leaders to know where your child's reading level is currently, right? And then what are the expectations, right? And what's the difference between those? How can we bridge the gap, right? How can you get them to be on grade level? And we want that collaboration between parents, you guys, right, as leaders in the school, to really increase your collaboration and communication with teachers, right? This perfect formula of how we really support our students and our child's learning. You know, we've got teachers, we've got you guys, we've got lead admin. We all gotta be aligned and in unison, right? To make sure that our students and our children are best supported. How does that sound to folks? Does that sound good?
Good.
Nice. Yes, I love the enthusiasm. Awesome. So why don't we go to our purpose and outcomes for the evening? Great. So today, consider this session an official invitation as a parent to be a key partner in your school's literacy campaign. There's a lot of really interesting things going on at each site, and we're going to learn about that to really support literacy growth. We also want to introduce the Lighthouse and Lodestar science-based approach to reading, right? The way kids are learning to read now, it probably looks a lot different than when we were in school, right? And we want to really tap into that and get you guys kind of an inside look at what that's looking like so that you can do, when you're doing those practices at home with your student, you feel confident to know that that's really how they're learning in the classroom as well, and you're bringing it home. And finally, we really want you guys to develop your agency as parent leaders, right? To feel ownership, right? Through sharing your stories of your own education story, right? And how does that look in comparison to what you want for your child? So we're going to be doing a lot of interesting stuff, right? So that we can all kind of effectively work together and increase the literacy rates for all of the students at our two sites. All right? Perfect. Well, let's go over the agenda for the evening, Nabarina.
Yes. Okay, our agenda. Okay, 1 second. On the wrong slide. Here's our agenda for our 2 hours together this evening. We will learn what is the science-based approach to teaching reading, learn how we can do at home to reinforce those learning with our children. We will go into breakout rooms to set a routine to support our child, and then we will come back as a big group and have our leadership building lesson and learn how we can craft a powerful story. And we will hear from some of our amazing parent leaders on their own history. We will go back into the breakout groups to reflect and work on our own histories. Before we finish up tonight, let me see if that sounds good. And let me have this thumbs up.
I got my thumbs up. Who else is feeling that? Does that sound good to folks? Let me see your thumbs up. Let's see. I see some folks. Cody's like, yes. Dr. Dickey's like, yes. Rachel, yes. Tanisha, yes. Belen, yes. Shayna, yes. Awesome. Perfect. We can go to our next slide and get started.
Okay.
So tonight we have the principals of Lighthouse and Lodestar Elementary Schools with us. They're going to introduce the LCPS literacy data so we can understand really the big picture of how students are reading, right? In relation to the grade level expectations. They're going to share a little bit about their own stories and talk about what the literacy goals, right, are for each site. So without further ado, I want to welcome Cody and Shayna. Take it away.
But Susan, I put a note in the chat box. We have a tradition at FIA, and I think it's time to kind of like, I think we got to go there.
You're right, Kimmy.
Ready? I think we got to liven this group up because Cody and Shayna are about to take us there. Take it away, Susan. Let's give Cody and Shayna the proper welcome.
Okay, guys. So whenever we have new speakers come on, we like to do what's called a woo woo. Okay, so we're going to do a practice one. Basically, I'm going to count us down from 3, and on 1, we're going to say, come off mute, and we're going to go woo woo, just to show our support. All right, so let's do a practice one. 3, 2, 1. Come off mute. That was weak. We gotta try it again. We gotta try it again.
Do it again.
Schools are here with us tonight.
That's pretty good.
Okay, we're gonna try again. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That was better. We're gonna work on it. Cody and Shayna, take it away.
What a great introduction, Cody. I'll let you go first to start us off, and then I'll jump in after.
Thanks so much, everyone. I'm so excited to be taking on this partnership with you all. It is my honor to be working with you all, not only as the Lodestar K-5 principal, but as someone who is truly in partnership with you to make sure that students in Oakland get what they deserve. Our students deserve to be confident and capable readers.
Yes.
And am I driving the slides as well? Or do I have to say next slide?
What you tell me, and I'll do whatever you need me to do.
Okay, next slide, just before I introduce Shayna really quick, okay? Yeah, our students deserve the world. Our students deserve to be strong in literacy and to be extremely confident. We all know that there are impacts that being fluent in literacy has on all other school subjects and life skills. But currently, 2 in 10 Black and Brown students in Oakland are reading at grade level. So I'm excited to be embarking on a journey to change that with you all. And now handing over to Shayna.
Yeah, welcome everyone. So happy to be here with you all. I'm the principal. For those of you I don't know, I'm the principal at Lighthouse Elementary School. And I'm excited to jump into this work with all of you. So go ahead to the next slide. Perfect. So we're going to start off by talking about the science of reading. So like Kimmy said, reading's changing all the time. And so the way I was taught to read to learn is different than how we're doing it now. And that's probably true for you too. So right now, the newest science of reading has come out and said that there are 6 pillars of reading instruction, and they're right there. I would love for people to take turns sharing out what are the pillars that you see here. Just read one of them, anyone.
Phonics.
Yep. Thank you so much. What else?
Fluency.
Uh-huh.
Vocabulary.
Vocabulary, yep. A few more.
Oral language.
Yep.
In comparison?
Yep, comprehension. And the last one I see Dr. Dickey put in the chat, phonemic awareness. So I know that when I was learning to read, my parents really focused on the fluency and the phonics. They made sure that I knew the letter names, I knew the letter sounds, and I could read words. And because of that, I actually tricked my teachers for a lot of years. They thought I was a really strong reader. But it turned out when I got to the upper grades, they realized I actually wasn't comprehending what I was reading. I wasn't understanding all those fancy words that I was reading. And so it's really important for us to think about all 6 of these pillars. We really focus on sounding out words at the beginning, And sometimes we forget that we need to be talking about books. That's oral language. We need to be understanding what we're reading, comprehension. And we also should be using reading as a way to increase our vocabulary. And we have to know what those words mean in order to understand the words, or in order to understand the reading. So go ahead to the next slide.
Shana, can I just say one thing? Because I got
Yep.
really fired up listening to you.
Yep.
Here's what I want to say. You parents, I don't work at Lighthouse, but here, or Lodestar, but here's what I will say. You are lucky to belong to a school that believes in the science-based approach to reading instruction. And we want you to know these 6 pillars, because maybe you have to move someday and you're not going to be there. We want to make sure wherever you go, you know these are the 6 things that you should be looking for in your child's school. Are you with me? Because no matter where you are, these are the 6 things you should be getting.
And can I add something really quick?
Please get in there, Cody. Get in there. He's getting fired up.
I know. I actually love the 6 pillars because I think when people think about supporting their student and, you know, maybe they're not teachers, there's a big barrier there where they think, they perceive, I'm not qualified to understand this information. This is above my head. I don't know. But because there's 6 pillars that we can all name, that is going to actually make this more accessible. You're going to be able to see exactly what your student struggles with and be able to coach your student specifically on that thing.
Yes.
I like to what Shana's point when she said it's very different than maybe how we learned. And I'm sure a lot of folks can remember memories where they were asked to do things like copy sentences. That's not science-based, or they were asked to read the dictionary or something like that. So we're going to be able to interrupt some practices that maybe we learned from our parents or our past teachers or something like that. And we're going to be able to get really specific in the way we support our kids.
Cody, I love that example. And then, you know, Shana just reminded me, like, you gave a great example. You had a lot of these pillars, but you didn't have comprehension. You got to have all 6, right?
Yep.
Sometimes as kids, some of these are going to come more naturally to us than others, but we got to make sure, as Cody's saying, none of these really get left out, right? Just as your experience. Thanks, guys. I'm sorry, I had to jump in. I got fired up.
Anytime. I'm glad you did jump in. All right, so we are going to use these 6 pillars to really drive some of our goals. We have our first goal right there. Cody, can you share out for us? What's our first goal?
As students, 90% of our students will increase their percentile on AIMSweb Plus through teaching parents the data, practices, and skills to use at home with their child.
Amazing. We'll talk more about that AIMSweb Plus data in just a second. So if it doesn't make sense now, it will make sense soon. And our second goal, can I hear from Takora? Miss Gray, can you share with us what our second goal is?
Activate reading practices among families through building the leadership of 40, oops, my screen just went. The leadership of 40 LCPS families as literacy champions.
Amazing. You all here are our literacy champions. We are hoping that you guys take this knowledge and take it to the broader community so that, you know, we're starting with 40 parents and we really end up with all parents behind us striving towards this goal of students increasing in AIMSweb Plus. And Corey in the chat, yep, 100% reading at grade level. That's what we're aiming for. All right, so speaking of percentages, we wanted to share with you where we are right now, because we are not yet at 100% of students reading on grade level, and we really need your help to get there. So we wanted to share with you our current data. This right here, this data I'm showing you, and we'll explain, is just around fluency, okay? So looking back at those pillars, this is about fluency. How many words could the students read on the page? And students actually only have 1 minute to read these words. That's all they're given. 1 minute, how many words can you read during that time? And at the end of it gives out a score and compares it to everyone across the United States. And so you'll see here over on the left-hand side, that's where Lighthouse and Lodestar started. Those big green bars in 4th and 5th grade, that's where we want all of our grades to go. Right now, you'll see 4th and 5th grade have those big green bars. They have the most students reading on grade level. And then over on the right, that's where we ended the year last year. So it's a lot of graphs, but a few key points. So you'll see on that first point, right now, only about 30% of our 1st and 2nd grade students are reading at grade level. But by 5th grade, we're seeing that the fluency is about 70% of students reading fluently, right? We're growing a lot over the years, but we want it to happen quicker. And if we got there, right, imagine what would be possible if all of our students were on grade level by the end of 2nd grade, right? And then we're not practicing fluency in the upper grades. We can really focus on the writing and the talking about books and all those other pillars that we were just looking at. Anything that you wanted to add, Cody?
Yes. Shayna, you did a great job of talking about how the longer students stay at our school year over year, by the time they get to 5th grade, they are doing much better. But if I want families to also pay attention to, you can stay on the previous, or you can stay on the slide. I want families to also pay attention to the fall to spring movement within 1 year. If students are behind grade level, we have a objective to grow them more than 1 year per 1 year's worth of growth per year. Otherwise, if they're behind 2 or 3 years, if you grow them at the standard rate every year, they will remain behind for several years. So what I also want us to pay attention to is the fall to spring growth. And what we're currently seeing, in my opinion, is that it's not enough. So while I'm glad that our students are experiencing growth year over year, I do believe that with FIA's help, we can accomplish the accelerated growth that we need to see. And we're going to start seeing that. And when we look at these fall to spring charts.
And you have these charts in your binder as well, so you can look back at them, make more sense of them. But we really just wanted to highlight these few key points for you. So this second slide is actually, this is reading as a whole, right? This is like all 6 of the pillars together. The first ones we're just talking about, can they read the words on the page? And this goes into, are they understanding it? All of those, right? Everything together. And you'll see that it's really similar. We had about 30% of our 1st and 2nd grade students reading on grade level. And that is not where we want to be. Just about 30%. That means 70% of our students aren't yet where we want them to be. So we're going to take a few minutes to really think about that question there. How do you feel about this data? So take a few seconds, think, start typing something in the chat, and then we're just going to start firing away. What do you want to say? You can say it out loud, put it in the chat, show an emoji. How are you feeling about this data? I know when I saw it, I had a lot of feelings. Let's hear. Ms. Albrecht is feeling motivated. She's got those 1st graders in class.
Oh, did we get a fire reaction to that one? I love it. That's how I feel.
Corey's also feeling motivated. Kimmy's feeling sad about it. Tell us more, Kimmy.
I just think, I don't know, are there parents out there who have kindergartners, 1st or 2nd graders? Anybody out there have a K1 or a 2nd grade student?
I am.
Oh, great. So I just think, we want to see similar, I want to get us up to that, like how 5th grade is doing. I just feel sad because I think our little ones can do more. And so how do we get them there? I'm just kind of wrestling with that. What do you think, Norma? Do you want to come? Do you want to share? You have a little one, right? You have a first grader? Norma, you can jump in if you would like to. I know you have yep. Tanisha, do you want to jump off? How are you feeling? I saw you put something, you were saying you're not happy about this. We're here to get to work. Yes. Tanisha, I think you're on.
Yes, I'm not happy. We have to get to work. Our babies need us. Now,
Yes.
all of our children need us. They need the adults to work together. They're looking for our directions. They're waiting for us to help them, and we're really going to have to work together and partner with our schools to make sure we don't just get our individual child, but all of our children. That's really important to me, that we can't leave our babies behind. They're the future. No. We got to get working, parents.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Miss Tanisha. And if anyone else wants to jump in, I know Miss Shana.
I just want to say to some of the parents, if your first language is Spanish, no matter what, you just take a half hour during the day and read to your kids in Spanish. That's a big plus, Don't be afraid. Just read to them. Show the book and see everything in Spanish. That's okay. You can do it too.
I also want to jump in, when my kids were younger, they're all grown now, but we all had really busy schedules. And so when we would come home, and when I would come home from work, I would read to them while I was cooking dinner. We just got to find that time.
Love it, Dr. Dickey.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to jump right into some action. So go ahead and go to the next slide. I heard Dr. Dickey talk about, ways that we can support. We're going to get there, but I have a couple more pieces of data to show you, right? So this right here is our state test. Okay, only 3rd to 5th graders in elementary school take the state test. And so it's really important in kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, they're kind of preparing for that. And then in 3rd grade, they take the test for the very first time. And so you'll see here, this is our Lighthouse data for all of our grades. We have 3rd grade right there. They were about 12% on grade level last year in reading. For 4th grade, 34%, for 5th grade, 37%. And so again, just more data speaking to that we need to improve, right? And this data also includes writing. It's reading, writing, all those things. And I'll flash to the Lodestar data and let Cody go through that.
And you all know how I feel about the Lodestar data. We're growing students in certain grades. We're not growing students in other grades. We have a lot of work to do. Even when there is growth, we have to be achieving accelerated growth, tremendous growth for our students to be at grade level, especially if they're multiple years behind. We talked about the strands of reading. And in the previous data, we were looking at Ames Web data, which is fluency. These state tests, students take them silently. So this is measuring their comprehension and their literacy, their literary analysis that comes from comprehension. But also if they don't have fluency and they can't read the words on the page, then our students have lost before they have even taken the test. So our students' proficiency in literacy is key no matter what test they take. Even if they're taking a math test, they have to be able to read the questions. So this is an absolute priority for us to be able to say that we're serving our kids and growing them. Literacy has to be at the center.
And a huge shout out, all this green right here, that's all the places where Lodestar and Lighthouse from the previous slide grew from year to year. People are growing like every year. The Lodestar data, the Lighthouse data is getting better. And imagine what it can be if we all work together. We'll keep seeing those green numbers and we'll keep seeing better numbers that we like.
Ms. Shana and Cody, parents, I just want to pause you guys for 1 minute because I love what you're doing right here. And I want to tell you, parents, there's a lot of principals who are not sharing this data with the parents. And you have 2 principals that showed up here tonight, eating dinner on the side of their computer because they wanted to be with you and they want to invite you into this challenge. And there's a lot of schools where this data is kind of, I almost want to say hidden. You know what I mean? These are your principals calling us all to action because they are not satisfied and they know that our kids can do better. And so I just want to say, I want to give a big shout out to Cody and to Ms. Shana because they are so fired up about this. I mean, I'm not even talking about Navarina and Dr. Dickey, who are already fired up. I'm saying when we have principals that are fired up like this, there's nothing we can't do together. Okay. So Susan, do you think I could just interrupt with a whoop whoop for Cody and Shana? Because I just am feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Yes, this is the type of data transparency that we need, right? If we're asking for parents to be in partnership with us, then we need them to know the data. We need to share it with them so we can absolutely do a woo woo. I think a woo woo is definitely in order. So I'm gonna count us off. Everybody, get ready to come off mute. Okay, I'm gonna count us up to 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That was better. That was better. Nice.
Getting better every time. Look at that. Well, we have already, given some time for this, but we showed you even more data. Let's hear some more people out loud in the chat. How are you feeling? Are you feeling motivated like Miss Albrecht?
I wanted to ask Miss Lila. She has a lot of activity in the chat box. Miss Lila Wiley Booker, could you come off mute because you have a lot to say? I think we need to hear from you.
Yeah, I start with my kids with Bible study every night and have them participating in reading. And I always participated with them from preschool till all through school. I have a 10th grader at Lodestar and participating in reading in sight words from higher grades. So I started them in sight words in preschool.
Wow.
So like I have a one in kindergarten, one in 4th grade. So I always had them read up until when my kindergarten from preschool K through 5 sites. So every year before they got out of 1 grade or kept the ones from my older kid, we're working on a sight word so they could are working on being advanced ahead of time.
Excellent. Excellent. Amazing. Let's get at least one more and then we're going to jump into our small groups. Cody, do you want to maybe call on a parent or Miss Sheena call on one more parent?
I will call on, let's see, Ruby?
Ruby, I think you're muted, Miss Ruby.
Sorry. Thank you. With Ruby, I recall teaching her how to read and reading to her when she started at, let me see, I think she was 4 years old. She was in preschool and she's always liked to read. So even though she was pretending to read, I've always saw her looking at books and she's like interested in them. And now she reads to me during bedtime.
Beautiful. All right. Oh, sorry, Miss Shana. Did you want to quickly do this one?
Yes. So a few things that we're doing this year. It's great to hear all the things that are happening at home. That is a wonderful start. And we're doing some similar things, sight words, things like that, right? And just fostering a love of reading. Some other things that we're doing is your child has a small group every day. We do small group reading where students get the exact instruction they need. You might hear at conferences and things like that, teachers talking about DI. DI is a time of the day where some kids are working independent, so the teacher can really focus on those elements of reading with a small group of students that are all practicing the same skill. Maybe it's letter names and sounds, maybe it's multisyllabic words. And in addition to that, students spend a full hour in the day just reading and talking about grade level texts. And so even if your student isn't yet reading at grade level, maybe they're in 3rd grade and they're still working on some 1st grade skills, they still have opportunities to read and talk about those 3rd grade level texts, because we believe in pushing them and having them, you know, hear new vocabulary and new ideas, even if they can't yet sound out the words. Anything else you wanted to add, Cody?
Yes, can I share my screen? Thank you so much. So while students are not in their small group, something that they may be doing is Lexia. And if you were supporting your student during distance learning, it's pretty likely, I think, that you supported your student to complete Lexia. But if you're not sure what it is, Lexia is a computer program that to students looks a lot like a video game. It gives them a lot of opportunities to practice those 6 strands that we talked about: fluency, phonics, comprehension, all of it. At our school, Lexia has always been one of the tools, in addition to small group, where we're making sure students are getting that practice and that we're collecting data on our students. There are many students who think that it's fun, but it takes intention and efforts to make sure that students remain invested in this program and that they continue to think that it's fun. Right now, our school is in a major campaign, and it's a competition among the classes so that they can Lexia measures how many minutes they spend on the platform, and also whether or not students are successfully gaining their skills. And I am obsessive about these data reports that Lexia gives me. And so right here, you can see our most recent week where this data was collected. We have 82% of our students meeting Lexia usage and minutes goals. That's incredible. For reference, if you look at this whole chart that I have here, this is tracking the entire time I've worked at Lodestar. And there is no point, even this point, which is misleading, where it looks like the graph is higher. That's because it's summertime and it's 1 out of 1 student using it. So here, 82%, this is a high point for our whole school and its history. And so that means we're in a moment where students are really invested and they want to get better. And we have to take advantage of this moment. And because Lexia is not our only tool, right? That's just one way students interact with the screen. They're not necessarily getting that human connection and all the beautiful things that come with that. So I hope that you all are excited as I am. Like our teachers are excited for small groups, and I hope that you are excited to take on this work with us.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. So great. All right. And now I have lost my presentation. Okay, hold on. I'm going to get it. Cody, I think I might have closed the presentation. Now I got to find it. I apologize. Cody and Ms. Shana, we're going to move you, if that's okay, to let's just, I bet parents are wanting to practice. What do you think? Because now they're fired up. They know they got Lexia. They know we got some good progress to make in the reading. Do you guys feel like you could show them a few strategies, a few things they could be doing at home to level up the reading? Are we ready for that?
Absolutely.
We're both feeling ready.
I love it. Okay, great. Can you see my screen and my many tabs? Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. All right, let's go.
All right. So we have our first strategy that we have that you can try at home is called a book walk. And I am actually going to, in just a second, have Kimmy play this video. But while it's playing, I want you to think about what you notice. What are the things that this parent is doing for this book walk? What makes it a book walk? So just think to yourself, and I'm going to call on some people to share out after. So be ready.
Awesome. All right, we ready? Let's go.
Take a book walk. Family workshop video from Springboard Collaborative. Taking a book walk is an easy and fun way to preview a book with your child. Here are the basics. Number 1, touch the page. Encourage your child to point to parts of the page, circling things with their fingers as they tell you what they see. Hand them the book and let them do it on their own. This physical action can really help your child make a mental picture of what's going on. During the book walk, you do a lot of talking. So you talk about the picture and say what's happening. Let's watch how one mother talks about the pictures with her son. What do you think is happening on this page? Tiny or big? Oh, maybe Tiny is the dog name and not the boy's name. What do you think is happening on this page? The dog is the dog playing with the kids. Maybe the dog clears all the kids' stuff. Maybe the dog gets into all the stuff and scares it up and bites it. What do you think is happening on this page? Did you notice how she helped her child by asking, what do you think is happening on this page? Then she modeled an answer by starting with, maybe. This way it felt like a conversation, not a test. A book walk should be fun. She could have also asked things like, what do you see? What are you thinking? Where are the characters now? What makes you say that? How has the picture changed from the next picture or the previous page? And in the end, what is this book going to be all about? As the at-home reading coach, you know that asking questions and talking about books is very important. Talking about a book before we read a story isn't cheating. It's a great way to preview some of the words and ideas your child will need as they try to figure out the words and understand what they read. Plus, they can get excited about the book. So the last step of a book walk is to go back to the beginning and start reading. Enjoy.
Awesome. So it gave you some of the answers there, but I don't think it hurts to say them again. What are the things that you saw in this book walk? What did you see this parent or this child doing? Any volunteers? Yep, Dr. Buki,
I can. Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Oh yeah, the mom is having the by asking the child to look at the pictures and what he thinks that's happening. So he's making predictions in terms of what he thinks the book is going to be about.
Yeah. And like Patrice said in the chat, right? That's really engaging, right? Asking all those questions, keeping the child engaged. Yep. What else do we see?
We're a little shy tonight, Miss Shana. They might need a little encouragement. I would call on
No, they're blowing up the chat. They're blowing up the chat.
Blowing up the
There
chat.
we go.
They
Look
said
at
they're making it fun. We're talking concepts about prints, giving the student the full attention, no distractions, focus.
Yep. I love that. There's so many distractions out there, right? And they're sitting there, they're all on the couch together. I think sometimes it feels hard for kids to just sit and read alone. They want to do so many other things, but when you're sitting and talking to them and engaging with them, it suddenly makes the book more interesting. Let's go back and thinking back to the pillars that we saw earlier. Does anyone have any ideas of what pillars of reading they might be practicing here? What part of reading are they doing?
Miss Shana, do you want to just say what the 6 pillars are and then maybe?
I was gonna say they might
There we
need
go.
a
They're in the
multiple choice
chat.
question.
Oh, perfect.
There we go.
Yes.
But we got a correct answer. Some comprehension is happening. Absolutely. Any other ones?
I'm thinking of one. Here's a clue. There's a conversation taking place.
Orange
There we
language.
go.
There
Yes.
we go. Yep. Oral language. Absolutely.
And vocabulary.
I didn't even think about that, but that's absolutely correct.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And you know, when they go back and read the book, that will be the fluency, right? But before that, before you even read the words on the page, there's so much that kids can learn. And this is an activity that we can do with all ages. So keep this book walk in mind. And Cody's going to show you another strategy.
All righty. So that was a before reading strategy that we just saw, right? The book walk. Now we're going to talk about independent reading. Keep in mind, independent means by yourself. This is most suited to students who already have fluency to start reading words silently in their head. That's now they're at the stage of practicing comprehension. But let's play the video. Here we go. Oh, can we check the audio? Let's see, hopefully that will be, we'll be able to hear it soon.
Sorry, Cody, were you not able to hear the, oh, let me try again.
No,
Hold
did
on.
anyone hear it? If the audience can hear it, that's all that matters to me.
No, you know what? I think I was on mute. Apologies. That was my bad. My bad. Let's start.
Collaborative.
There we go.
Asking questions and talking about books with your child is a great way to help them develop as a reader. Open-ended questions, or questions that lead to a conversation instead of just a simple yes or no, can help your child really understand what they read. To ask an open-ended question, prompt your child to think about predictions or what they think might happen next. Think back and retell what actually happened in the story. And finally, connect what they read to what they know.
And then can we pause right here really quick?
Open-ended questions.
We're going to continue watching the video, but again, to those points, it wasn't until kind of late in my teaching career when I realized the value of a retell. And when I ask a student just that simple question, like, tell me about what you just read, or who's the character? What's the setting? Where are they? And what's happening right now in the book? Something clicked for me when I realized that I didn't have to be a scientist to support my students with comprehension. And nobody does. You don't have to be a scientist either. Okay, keep going.
Questions and action.
Based on what you have read, what do you think is going on next? I'm a little worried about this fishbowl breaking.
Uh-oh. Let's try again. Uh-oh, hold on.
Next. I'm a little worried about this fish.
Sorry, guys. One more time. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
Next. I'm a little worried about this fishbowl breaking or something. What do you think?
Seems a little from the text of the book what I already had read. She doesn't listen much.
What's happening on this page?
The cat is knocking down the trash.
What does it remind you of?
The vacuum that was knocked down our trash and Jesus.
Yeah, that remind me of that too. So what did you think that book was all about?
About a cat who made the house worse and worse and worse.
What was your favorite part?
Well, my favorite part was when They said, baby, fucking will rest.
You want to know the part I really like the part where he thought he was gonna run away, dog.
Did you notice how the father in the last clip didn't just ask a question, but also gave his own answer too? That's a great way to keep the conversation going. Remember, questions lead to conversations, and the conversations you have about what they read and how they read will help your child understand whatever they're reading. Plus, you get to know your child a little bit more too.
So again, this is a really high leverage strategy to help your student with comprehension. You might not have been able to hear in the video, but that's okay, because what you saw, regardless of what you heard, was someone engaging their student around very simple questions. What do you predict what will happen? What actually happened? How's the character feeling in the end? That's something that you can do in any language as well. We don't believe that students need to be reading in a certain language because comprehension especially is a skill. It's a thinking skill. So I want you to feel empowered that that's something that you can start right away with your student. The next part I'll talk about is setting a routine. Students will become the best readers if there's a habit or a routine established. Just like any skill, it's something that has to be practiced for students to be able to do it at a high level, right? So like I said, this is something that you can do at home in any language. Again, don't feel pressure, like because you may not speak a certain language that you can't do this. Also find a quiet place where the student can establish this routine without constant distractions like people coming in and out of the room. Or electronics being on or enticing things being around. Part of your routine can be a book walk and a book talk, and that can be very comforting for you and the student so that there is a relationship piece taking place here, and so it feels good. Because I know that as parents, you don't want to be in a situation where you feel like you're forcing your student to do a thing that they don't want to do. So make this fun and then join the routine with them. That's going to show that this is something that's important to you and the student. And like I said, that's going to make it fun. It's going to be something that you're going to be able to celebrate together. You should also track how many minutes you read. Students are very... Children, I should say. I always say students. Children are very goal-oriented. They love receiving visual feedback in the form of numbers and bar graphs. And when they see like, oh, we read together for this many minutes last week, I can read for even more minutes the next week and the next week. You can decide for yourself if that's something that you want to attach as incentives to, things like extra privileges or, you know, that special coloring book that they've been asking you for every time you go to Target. So think about how you can use the number of minutes your student is reading with you as some sort of incentive. And yeah.
Awesome. And I just want to know, did anyone find their reading chart in their binder? I know you have your binder. Everybody should have one of these. I like to, when I had little ones, I put it right on the fridge. So we look at it when we're having breakfast, we look at it when we're having dinner, and it just reminds us. So I hope as one next step, as Cody's saying, that routine is important, right? Just like we brush our teeth before we go to bed, we got to have a reading routine if we don't already. And if you already have a reading routine, as we're hearing some parents do, how are you going to level that routine up? Right? What are you going to try next? What's the new thing? Maybe you're going to do a book walk or a book talk, or maybe instead of 20 minutes, you're going to go for 25 minutes of reading. Let's think about how we level that up, and we'll be able to talk about that in our small groups. I think we're ready for small groups. What do you think, Shane and Cody?
Absolutely.
We're ready.
All right. So we're going to have some discussions and react to the data, but then everybody, I want you to figure out which commitment, what are you going to try at home to level up your home reading routine? We will see you in 20 minutes.
I would like to welcome Dr. Dickey and Tanisha to our virtual stage. Can we give them a woo woo? I'm gonna count us down. All right, guys, let's feel that energy. Get ready to get off mute. I'm gonna count us down from 3, okay? 3, 2, 1. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Susan. Okay. So once again, my name is Tanisha Harris. I'm a parent leader at a Low Start with FIA.
And I am I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dr. Dickey.
Yeah, and I'm Dr. Lehigh Dickey, Family Engagement Coordinator at Lighthouse. Welcome. So I guess we need to go to the next page, please. Thank you. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to read a quick excerpt from the Book of Qualities by J. Ruth Gingler. The Power Coat Parable. Power made me a coat. For a long time, I kept it in the back of my closet. I didn't like to wear it much, but I always took good care of it. When I first started wearing it again, it smelled like mothballs. As I wore it more, it started fitting better and stopped smelling like mothballs. I was afraid if I wore the coat too much, someone would want to take it, or else I would accidentally leave it in the dojo dressing room. But it has my name on the label now, and it doesn't really fit anyone else. When people ask me where I found such a becoming garment, I tell them about the tailor Power, who knows how to make coats that you grow into. First, you must find the courage to approach him and ask him to make your coat. Then you must find the patience inside yourself to wear the coat until it fits. Next slide, please. Power principle. The first revolution is internal. So we really want to focus on this power principle. The first revolution is internal. So that means it has to come, within.
Yeah,
Next
so
slide. Oh, go ahead.
I totally agree with you, Dr. Dickey. So when I look at the power principle and I think of the power code, it makes me think of being a parent last year at Lone Star. I was facing a lot of challenges with my daughter. Also being a teen mom and seeing all our children go through things. So I felt as I'm learning and I'm doing things, it was my duty to act and share what I'm learning with other parents. Sometimes you just know you have to do something. And depending on how you choose and you decide to wear your power coat, like for me, depending on the season, my power coat changes. Like it's winter time, so it's gonna get a little thicker. It may have some layers on it. It may have some fur. But as I dip in and out in my journey in education with my children, and as I level up, my power coat changes. Sometimes it get a little bit too big, and I have to add some layer and some alterations on it. So, we have to be able to wear our power coats, and for me to be involved parent. And I've customized it and I upgrade it as I grow as a leader. And I know I have to show up for my siblings and my brothers. And like my brother, he's on the spectrum. I have to advocate for him and I have to be involved so that he has access to the same quality education as other children. Now, I don't want to homeschool no more. I've done that. So for me, it's about the partnership with the schools and how to support my children and my siblings. And I don't want history to repeat itself. I want to make sure that all children graduate from high school. And I want them to be able to read. It also makes me think of my mom. My mom stopped at 8th grade. She never graduated. I don't want history to continue to repeat itself. So that's why I have to put on my power coat. And sometimes, it stretches, it gets worn out, but I can always do alterations. I can always add more material. Thank you. Next slide, please. So now my literacy story of self. So first step in being a leader and putting on your own power code is getting in touch with your own story. What is the story of learning to read? What is your story of learning to read? Stories can be powerful and inspiring others and others to act on. And Norma, may I have you share your story of self?
Gracias. Mi historia, Norma García, mi nombre es Norma García. Soy del Salvador, hija de madre soltera. Yo quedé huérfana a la edad de 4 años, pero mi madre la tuve siempre en los dos hogares. Para mí, el hogar principal es en la familia y luego en la escuela. Ella siempre estuvo muy involucrada en la escuela con los demás padres, maestros y mis compañeros de clase. Ella hacía actividades para tener lazos muy estrechos. Yo leía, perdón, estrechos. Me motivaba a leer. Si no tenía libros, pero había un periódico y me ponía a leer. Yo leía para aprender. Hoy, como mamá, me involucro en la educación de mis hijos para motivarlos. Me doy cuenta que los otros estudiantes no tienen el apoyo de sus padres porque están ausentes. Es importante que los padres tengan una relación con los maestros, con la escuela, y quiero motivarlos para involucrarse. Muchas gracias. La siguiente nota.
Can we give
Oh.
Norma a woo woo, everybody? She really just opened up and shared her literacy story of self and how she's here today as an involved parent leader at Lodestar and everything she's gone through. So I'm going to count us down because I just so appreciate your transparency, Norma. So we can give Norma a very warm woo woo, okay? Get off mute. 3, 2, 1.
Woo!
Woo! Norma. Thank you, Norma.
Gracias.
Now we're going to get into our breakout groups, right? We just learned an organizing principle, right? The first revolution is internal. And we just heard 2 amazing stories from Tanisha and Norma. So we're going to reflect a little bit and then build our own literacy story of self, right? Reflect on our own education journey. And so in just a second, you're going to see a pop-up window on your screen. You'll be invited to join your breakout groups and we're going to chat. All right? Was there a parent that maybe was ready to share from our English 2 group, Cody, Tanisha, and Corey? What were folks talking about? Hop off mute.
Parent Tanisha?
Yeah.
Okay, so within our group, I'll share back.
Okay.
So within our group, I know Cody talked about his experience growing up and how he came from a different country and had really bad struggle. He was 2 years behind.
Mm.
And I didn't know about that about Mr. Marsh,
Mm-hmm.
and just how, sometimes when we share, like we were saying how, as Norma, we heard Norma's story. And then Lila, I hope I said it right, she shared as well. And we realized, we had certain similarities, that just that connection, it put us back. It put me back, even myself, where I forgot that when I was reunited to my family from LA to Oakland, I got skipped from 3rd to 4th. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I never got to 3rd grade, but I was moved all the way to the 4th, and it was a struggle. So our story itself changes over time, depending on what sparks.
That's why we got to reflect, right? And share them, because it makes us think, dang, I went through something similar too, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Tanisha. Absolutely. I hope you all really enjoyed that small group and feel like you have a good kind of start to your story of self. I know we only have 5-ish minutes with each other, but we have some homework for you guys, because we wouldn't be challenging you if we didn't give you a little bit of things to do at home, right? So this week's homework, because our next meeting is not for another 2 weeks, so you really have a good amount of time to get everything in order. We want you to do 3 things, okay? Set a routine for home reading. I know in my group, the parents talked about they don't have a routine now, but they want one. You guys have a reading chart in your resource binder, use it. Set a routine, right? Get that routine started. We want to hear back in session 2 how that's going. Homework number 2 is try a book talk or book walk. So you set this routine, but what scale are you going to practice? What activity are you going to do? Book talk, book walk, or you can even do it acted out. Maybe you have a child that really likes to, make the book come alive. Do an acted out. Play different characters, right? Make it fun. Take a picture of this and you can send it to myself. You can send it to Dr. Dickey. If you're a Lighthouse parent, you can send it to Naborina. If you're a Lodestar parent, because we want to put you here so we can celebrate you in session 2 and all of the work you're doing around setting a routine and trying those literacy practices. Okay. So take a picture of all of it. We want to see it. And finally, share your literacy story of self with 2 other parents. You probably met some new parents on this call tonight. You can share it with them. Hey, you going to be at the school tomorrow doing drop off? I want to share with you my literacy story of self I'm working on, right? Share it with folks. Like Tanisha said, it makes us remember, it makes us make connections with people that maybe we forget, right? We go through so much. There's so much happening all the time. It's good to pause and reflect and share that. Our power is our stories, right? Awesome. How does that sound? Are folks resonating with this homework? Do you feel up to the challenge? You got your power coat at least somewhat near you or even on, right? Feel confident to do this homework? Nice. I see some thumbs up. I see some smiles. Yes. Miss Albridge is ready to partner with families. Go to her classroom, especially if she's your child's teacher. Yes, Leela. Yes, Guillermina. Thank you. So as we wrap up today in the last couple of minutes, we do have an evaluation that Corey just put in the chat that you guys can fill out. Let us know about your experience this evening. When you share with us, it helps us grow better and be better and serve you better, right? So I'm going to drop it in the chat one more time. So please fill this out for us. It's so helpful. And it's really a space for you to get your thoughts down. Share with us what resonated, what you learned, so we can know to put more of that in there. Okay.
Susan, I wanted to shout out Miss Rachel,
Yes.
who's our teacher, who was so fired up in our teacher training, and she's here with us tonight. And she said she's feeling tired. It is late. You've been teaching all day. Thank you so much for staying up with us. And for Rachel, some of the glows were really the stories, the voices that were uplifted. She just felt like it was so empowering. And one way she thinks we could get better is maybe less cold calls and really getting people into that chat box. So maybe let's try that next time, everybody. Let's get in that chat box and share what we're thinking and feeling in the chat box, and then just kind of lift that back into the group. Thanks for that awesome suggestion. Rachel and Miss Leela agreed with that. We got a lot of thumbs up on that. Dr. Dickey's feeling very motivated. Norma's giving those high fives all over the place. What else do we have here? Tanisha just said, I'm so glad you're here, Rachel. Isn't it wonderful when our teachers are here with us? Our principals are here with us tonight with so much enthusiasm. It's like we can do anything when we work together. I truly believe that. We also have parents. Oh, Miss Albright came and she's got parents from her class are in here. So she just wanted to join the party. She said she wanted to get lit for literacy too. And I love it. Mr. Cora said this was great. Got a heart, got a super strong arm from Susan. How else are people feeling? What other ways are you feeling? This is only our first time together, guys. We got more times. But how else are you feeling tonight? You can come off mute or put it in the chat box. And then please give us some feedback. We definitely love to have your feedback so we can make the next session even better.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kimmy. Shayna's feeling lit for literacy. Is how she's feeling.
Right.
And
I
folks
love
really resonate with that. So Cora agrees. Corey's like, yes. Now Marina's celebrating in the chat. How else are folks feeling? I put motivated and inspired for mine. Norma's story really just brought us home. Awesome. Well, put your feelings in the chat, guys. Folks are feeling awesome, feeling inspired. It is 8 o'clock. We want to give you back your evening. Continue to fill out that evaluation if you can. And we're going to see you not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. Okay?
So you have a long time to do your homework, but I will say this is how FIA is a little different. We don't just come and get inspired. We got to turn that inspiration into action because I heard parents talking about this in my group. If we don't take action, nothing's going to change. So let's have that internal revolution and everybody, what you can do, set up that reading routine, do those book walks, do those book talks, reading with the dogs, whatever. You got a lot of cool ideas about how to increase the reading at home. Let's do it. Get out to the library. And then make sure you document. We want to celebrate you. Snuggle up with your kids. Let's do some reading. Let's take that photo, take that video. But let's just remember we want to follow through and practice so we can level ourselves up, right? Whatever routine we already have, let's make it better. Let's blow it up and make it even better. So we're very excited. Oh, audiobooks. I love a book on tape. I guess they don't have those anymore, but we used to love getting those from the library, 100% free, get some fun books to listen to. So many things we can do. We're going to leave it in your hands because you're so capable and powerful. Put those power coats on this week, share those stories, and we're going to see you in 2 weeks. Can we give a big shout out to all of our facilitators tonight who really, Tanisha, you were beautiful. You were incredible. Dr. Dickey, Naborina, Susan, so amazing. And then Norma for sharing her story. She just inspired the entire group. Super nice, guys. And should we come off mute and say goodnight? And then facilitators, we're going to stand for a very quick debrief. You facilitate tonight. Thank you, Ms. Shana. Thanks, Cody. Stand just for a minute, but let's come off mute and say goodnight, everybody. And
Good night.
Good night.